What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel and happy Lunar New Year. We are now in the year of the ox, and so like I did in January, I'm going to be looking at the Chinese horoscope for people born in ox years, since we are, as I said, now in the year of the ox. So let's have a look here. People born in years of the ox will have a pretty good year, especially in wealth and love in 2021. The link for this article will be in the description, by the way. However, the horoscope for the ox does warn that this year is one of the major changes in personality and of clarifying many personal and professional aspects. I think I remember last month I had an issue with the broken English on this, but we'll struggle through it together. In 2021, sentimentally, those born under the ox sign will go through a period as they probably haven't enjoyed in a long time, full of peace, quiet and well-being in the relationship of the couple and in everything that means developing partnerships and important relationships. Okay, so I'm going to struggle through this, and I'm going to try and fix the English. Basically, what I interpret from that, and you might have interpreted something different, but basically, last year wasn't your year, wasn't anyone's year, but this year you will have a period of time where that you haven't been able to enjoy for a while, and it'll be full of peace. There'll be some quiet times. Your well-being will be at the forefront, as well as developing partnerships and important relationships within your life. It does state to begin with relationship of the couple, so obviously that's referring to romantic relationships, but then it says in everything that means developing partnerships and important relationships. So that could be partnerships, could be work, partnering with other colleagues at work, and your important relationships could be family, it could be friends. So all of these different relationships are going to have some sort of a boost this year. So relationships are really sort of going to be sort of the strongest thing this year. And so if you really want to fully enjoy this year, you can by all means still try and better yourself, by, like if you've got like a go to the gym sort of a resolution, by all means, keep going, keep doing that, but maybe find a workmate or a friend that also goes to the gym and go together, and have that being like a bonding time, and just sort of involve these relationships a little bit more, rather than trying to do everything on your own. Cool, so some little snapshots before we get into the different topics. Ox years, or ox as one of the signs, oxes are an odd year sign. Obviously, with there being an even number of signs, they all get either an odd or an even number. Ox is one of the odd numbers. Those ending in a 5, the last one was 1985, the one before that 1925, the next one will be, watch me do the quick maths, 2045 will be the next wood ox year, and since that's not this one, those people born in the year of the ox ending in a 5, you have to work harder in 2021 is the prediction that this site is making. Fire ox ends in a 7, so 1937, 1997, 1957 will be the one after that. Sorry, 2057. It's been a long day. 2057 with the next one. Give your best to make everything a little better. So just general improvement across the board. And they don't have to be monumental, earth-shattering improvements. You just get a bit better. Get to the next step up, basically. Metal ox. So 1961. At this point in time, no one from 1901 is still alive, unless by some coincidence there's someone out there that's 120 years old, if there is, or someone turning 120 years old, excuse me. But if there is, like, what is the secret to a long life? And how many of those years were you affected by mental health? I would like to know. I'm not asking for a friend. This is me asking. But 1961 so far, and then obviously 2021. On metal ox. So anyone born this year will be born in the year of the ox, which is itself an earth sign within the Chinese zodiac. But the years ending in a 1 are metal years for ox. And I specify for the ox. I will make a whole video at some point explaining the 60-year cycle, because it's these are all over the shop, aren't they? So the metal ox set new goals every day. That is what you've got to do. So get up in the morning. If you've got a big goal, break it down into little steps. Try to find out, maybe you break it down into month-size bites. And you go, okay, by the end of this month, this needs to happen. Break that down into maybe weekly bites. And then from there, you can just make small progress to, at the end of the week, achieve that little chunk. And then the next one, and the next one. Probably your best way to go about it. It will mean that you're making a small step towards your larger goal every single day the entire year, and it's kind of what I've been doing with, good thing it's open still, with my routine. It allows me to put in my goals for the day, my to-do list, so to speak, at the beginning of the day, and then with my resolution videos at the end of each month to sort of be like, okay, how did we do? It's kind of what I'm doing there. Earth ox, your numbers, your magic number is 9. So 1949, 2009, 2069 will be the next one. In 2021, try and sleep more and be a happier person. I think being a happier person just sort of comes with the territory of sleeping more. But yeah, there's a number of different things that you could do to improve that. This is a particular thing that I myself am currently struggling with. So I know exactly what that's like to have a kind of shitty sleep schedule. I know what that's like. I've tried ambient music and white noise. I've tried like sleeping teas. At the moment I've got like sleeping tablets with melatonin, and yeah, I'm yet to try the trifecta of all three, but it could also be that my room is very stuffy. I like to sleep with the door closed. I like having privacy. You can see that it's currently closed. I like having private. We have animals that like to come in the wee hours of the morning and doors open, they will suffocate you by lying on your face. Cats are lovely creatures. I love the cats. But I would rather not wake up with a face full of fur. So that's why that's like that. But my room is very stuffy. Being on the coast, it rains a lot as well, so I can't exactly open the window because all of my power, like I've got 2 power outlets there and I've got 2 power outlets there. So if I open it and it rains, not only am I going to get it directly on my face because the window opens on the side of the bed that I sleep on, but it's also going to, anyway, I know what it's like to have shitty sleep is what we're getting at there. It's a whole thing. And water ox, last but not least, 1913, 1973, which means the next one's going to be 2033. Yes. So that'll be the next ox year. Will be a water ox year. And your prediction is a year without much progress, no clear targets, and a lot of waste of energy. Is your prediction. If you want to, prove that prophecy wrong, obviously setting clear targets, aiming true at them, and making sure that all of your energy is utilized to achieve those goals. That could be the case. However, make sure that the targets you're setting for yourself are going to, in the long run, come through with some very real, tangible results. Another way to sort of look at this is that that's exactly what you're going to do, but there's going to be something unforeseen thing come in the latter half of the year that's going to have basically rendered all of that energy for nothing, because you may end up switching fields in your career, or you may end up whatever it is that you're aiming for may end up being that in the latter half of the year something happens and all of a sudden that focus just completely shifts. Alright, let's get into money and finance because we all want to know. Alright, so So, it is expected for 2021 to be a generally auspicious year for the ox. In 2021, the hard work, the calm and the patient nature of the ox will ensure a rich harvest and significant achievements, as long as oxes don't allow themselves to be carried away by an excessive stubbornness, which is one of their traits. See the term bullheaded. Ox natives have a chance to obtain recognition in public life, to delight in the spotlight, and look, this isn't saying that you're going to achieve fame. You're just going to get recognition in your public life. So whatever your job is, you're going to gain some recognition, and for a moment, the spotlight in your personal world will be shining directly upon you. So you'll be able to delight in the spotlight and persuasively express your interests and your ideals, provided that you have mastered your emotional sensitivity, which is sometimes really high. You also have the opportunity to participate in numerous social events and to establish new friendships, which could be where the spotlight is shining on you. However, if you don't renounce your characteristic conservatism, that's how we pronounce that word. Well done, brain. So if you don't renounce your characteristic conservatism, if you don't try very hard to be on the same wavelength with the circumstances, and with innovative people, you will deny yourself some important advantages. So, yeah, being conservative, trying to make sure that you are understanding all extenuating circumstances and surrounding yourself with some innovative people will allow you to get some important advantages to help you progress in whatever it is that you're trying to progress in. Moreover, it is necessary to be as flexible as possible and to make compromises and truces instead of launching into unproductive battles. Don't develop Karen syndrome, basically, because you can scream and shout at, the person who's serving you at a fast food establishment, but there's nothing they can do if they're following all of their policies and procedures. If they're just doing their job and you don't like that, there's no, you know what I mean? Except put that sort of an idea, like that sort of reaction into, say, your working environment or your home life or whatever it may be. There's no way for the Ox natives to focus on ambitious long-term plans professionally. I don't see why, but okay. But they can maintain themselves, broken English, but they can keep themselves afloat due to their practical sense, which is characteristic to their personality, due to their perseverance and their willingness to collaborate with people around them. So I think ambitious long-term plans here is sort of looking at like your 5-year plan. Don't try to focus on that five-year plan. Focus on the step that you've set in that 5-year plan that is just this year, and keep your practicality close at hand. Persevere no matter the odds, and definitely collaborate with people. Like we've said, you're gonna be surrounded with some innovative people this year. You're gonna have the opportunity to participate in social events and establish new friendships, so those might help. And delighting in the spotlight and all that sort of stuff. There's going to be no shortage of people around you to be able to help you to at least achieve this year's requirements of that 5-year plan. But don't be looking at, but at the end of this next 5 years, this is what's going to happen. Look at the end of this year, this is what's going to happen. Try to readjust your scope, because while it's lovely to look at the whole big picture of how we want it all to look, this year's really sort of but the finer details of this part are really what's important right now, if that makes any sense. On to love. The Ox seems to have the possibility of laying the foundation of a new love relationship, standing under the sign of an intense mutual attraction relationship facilitated by a happy interaction in the social circle. Those who are already involved in a love relationship will have the chance to consolidate it, to deepen it, and it could eventually lead to marriage. Married Oxes, because it has to cover all of its bases, might be blessed with the birth of a long-awaited child. So if either of those three things are you, and you want to claim that, go right ahead, claim that. The idea of having of meeting someone and having a happy relationship from within your own social circle, or the idea that your relationship may progress to an engagement during this year, or that you may end up getting married yourself if you're already engaged, or that you're going to have a child within your marriage. Obviously, you may end up having the child and not the engagement, because not all of these things are like you have to do step one first sort of thing, but those are things that could happen to Ox natives this year. Your compatibility is with snake and rooster people. Now, generally speaking, when you're looking at the zodiac, it's wherever your sign is, you just count 4 spaces away. They're generally 2 spaces from the opposite, which for the ox is the goat. So you go to going backwards in years, you'll get the snake. Going forwards in years, you'll get the rooster. So you could have a great relationship both in love and in business. They complete each other wonderfully on all levels. The reason I bring up, my brain is everywhere. The reason why I brought up the 4-year thing is generally, and maybe this is just because it's just how society has taught me, and you can reject these if you want, go for it. I'm not going to judge. But the way I've always understood it is that for women, the best compatibility is with rooster, because rooster is going to be older than them by 4 years. Or if you do a full knuckle lap, 16. And then for men, it's snake, because they're 4 years younger, because society has always just sort of dictated that the men be older. And I'm pretty sure it's the same in China. And when you consider that a lot of Asian countries are very strongly connected to their traditions, I don't think that's too insane for me to say. That's why I mentioned the 4-year thing. Just as like to help you with like a rule of thumb thing, if they are 4 years older or 4 years younger than you, they're probably very likely, unless they're born in January, be careful of January babies. Lunar New Year and actual New Year never line up. But otherwise, if they're about 4 years older or 4 years younger, they're likely to be a compatible zodiac sign. Alright, moving on. The ox zodiac is not compatible with the goat, so 6 years either way. Basically, they have common interests, but life can tear them apart if they choose different paths and if they don't offer support to each other. Basically, since they're both horned animals, you will butt heads a lot. I mean, have you ever gone to a petting zoo and not been head-butted by a goat? And then we all know the stereotype of bulls and red flags. So, I don't know where that comes from, but sure. They've got a little paragraph here which seems out of place for compatibility. We'll see if we can fit it in the health, because it seems like that's going to be a health thing. So health is next. Although in 2021 the ox natives seem to have iron health, it's necessary to supervise their predisposition of being caught in the trap of depression or some extreme emotional reactions, and to make periodic medical checkups. It's also necessary to pay attention, especially to affections related to that should really say afflictions, but hey, what do I know? Related to their respiratory system, throat and stomach. Toward the end of 2021, nothing important to report health-wise, provided that the Ox negative control their tendency to overeat. And it would be best if they keep a diet starting from the beginning of the new Chinese year, as this effort will ensure a better shape. Those born in the year of the Ox need to think of practicing a sport with regularity, but without exaggerating or overburdening their cardiovascular system. Okay, now let's read this bit that was just like out of nowhere. So it reads, and I have no idea what it's referring to either, but it can be placed in the living room southward for harmony in the family life. For the single natives, it's also recommended to use this remedy. What remedy? I don't understand. What is that referring to? I don't know. We're moving on. Feng Shui tips. This is probably where it's coming from. Yeah, okay. Feng Shui objects for luck. We'll scroll back up and read that bit in a second. So the ox, which is the second animal of the Chinese zodiac, will have a very good year in all respects due to the victory and success energies in the northeastern sector within Feng Shui. So that could just be the northeastern part of your house, the northeastern part of a particular room. Obviously, if you combine the two and you're in the northeastern part of your northeastern room, particularly strong energy there for you. But yes, east and north are favourable directions for you. Onward and upward, basically. Lucky colours are green and blue. Green makes some sense, given that earth is one of your colours, but green is generally more of a wood colour. Yellow is generally the colour for earth, and this is a metal year, which is usually white or silver. So green and blue is interesting. Your lucky numbers are 8 or 9. Favourable months, Chinese lunar months of April, September and December. Now when you consider that the full moon that we had like last night is the new year, we are in lunar month January right now. It's important to remember that. So the next new moon will go into lunar February. So April, September, December. April is going to actually be during May. We're reading now February. Beginning of February. So yeah, beginning of May. The new moon, beginning of May. From then to the new moon after will be a favourable month. Beginning of October onward, and then the beginning of January until Lunar New Year next year are going to be your favourable ones. This year only has 12 full moons, and I think it might have 12 new moons as well. I'll double check that, don't quote me on that. Unfavourable months will be June and July, which is actually going to take place during July and August. But again, make sure that you're taking those from when the new moon is. So new moon to new moon. If that means you want to write out yourself a little calendar, by all means, I can drop a link for when each of those dates will be, if you are interested. Feng Shui objects for luck. For those who are aware of health issues, things will get better, but they should wear a remedy for health energies. This year they can progress in their career or make their business grow. Prosperity energy can be amplified with number 8 or the plaque of 8. auspicious Tibetan symbols. An ox keychain is recommended for health, money, family, career protection against accidents and theft and negative energies. These can be placed in the living room, southward, facing southward for harmony in family life. For single natives, it's also recommended to use that remedy, which ensures finding a loyal and loving life partner. They fit so much better. Okay, that's what that was for. Okay, so horoscope month by month. Let's do this, my ox people. We're already in February, so let's do a recap on January just to see how that went for you. Those born in the year of the ox will be active this month, especially regarding their house plans. And if that was the case, I hope those are coming along very well for you. That sounds like a very exciting thing to have started off the year with. So yes, very, very good. February. For the ox, February is going to be a month of priority changes, but also of significant changes in personal life. If your business takes too much of your time, you might have a complicated month, so you'll need it at home this month. In March, in terms of personal relationships, people born under the ox sign should remember that the people around them have their feelings and ambitions. Sometimes they also need major changes, so don't be surprised when a friend or relative decides to completely change their lifestyle. Be understanding and supportive. So someone in your life is going to make a major change in their life in March. The joy and mood for April will be more frequently one of fun, especially during the first week. I mean, to me that just says that you're going to have an amazing little prank war maybe for the first week, starting on April Fool's Day. I think, don't quote me, but I think that's also around about when Easter is as well, so that could be something as well. The romantic relationships, so your romantic relationships will also play an important role for your soul. They give your lover and children the attention they deserve. Obviously a good one, so it's going to again be very sort of family oriented in April. May, avoid signing important documents, taking major decisions or public speeches as much as possible during the second part of the month. Second half of May not looking good for you. As far as work's concerned, just sort of plug away, try and stay under the radar for that bit. In June, your health will be vulnerable and you will likely undergo some consultations, medical tests, and possibly surgical interventions, especially related to your feet and digestive system. Be careful with how you walk, follow a diet that's right for you, and get enough rest. In July, for all signs, but especially for you, introspection is promoted. It's a very good moment to establish that you are living as you want to, and if not, take the necessary time to reorganize your priorities so you can be living that life by the end of the month. Don't be afraid of new beginnings. In August, this month you will have the perfect context to meet special people. So that could be your big social event that we talked about earlier, could be in August. In terms of health, you might feel a slight lack of vitality. Someone close to you will offer you an object that you've wanted for a long time. Which is always fun, just getting a gift because someone cares enough and thinks about you enough to get it. It could also be that it's, maybe a late or an early birthday present, simply because, of shipping times, or it might be the kind of thing that you can't really hide anywhere. but August looks to be, other than you're slightly lacking in vitality, August looks to be a pretty good month for you. In September, you've waited for a radical change in your life and now it's almost happening. Don't worry though, as things settle harmoniously, things will settle harmoniously, so just get ready for some surprising news. Financially, you might have to face some sudden expenses. In October, it'll be a beneficial period for spiritual awakening. You can recognize and accept the mistakes of your past and therefore be open to new horizons. Learn to rediscover yourself and live without any of the burdens that made your life difficult up until that point. Stop stressing yourself out for all the evils around you. In November, after a period where you went through some situations that tested your patience, you can finally relax and enjoy the fruits of your labour. Some close friends might come up with a mini vacation that will remind you of your student years. So be ready to have fun as you haven't had in a long time. And then in December, you've dealt with many difficult administrative papers and procedures, and you've thought that the series of duties will never end. Fortunately, after such a long time coming, you will not have to perform any such tasks. Quite the contrary, you will have to take care of something much more pleasant, planning a vacation, which could be that one that your friends came up with the idea for, and then you, being the practical person you are actually writing down some concrete detail for it to happen, meaning that coming into 2022, you will have this vacation that reminds you of your youth, all planned, and here's hoping that by that time, international borders are also opened, so that vacation may even be an international one, which I think we're all buzzing for international travel to be allowed again. I know I am. I would love to go overseas. I really would just love to have a holiday. But that's it. That's all I've got for the Ox people. I'm running low on battery. So if you enjoyed that video, please give it a thumbs up. If you're new here, hit the subscribe button and ring that bell if you want to be notified when I upload new videos. If any of this spoke to you, specifically, obviously, Ox people, let me know in the comment section down below. And again, the link for this, and I will leave the link for the moon phases down below. Click on those. You can have a look on this article at what I mean by the broken English. I sort of read them, fixed them, and that's what I used as my script. But you can go through this again if you wanna read it, have the words right there in front of you, interpret it your own way, or you can look at the moon phases and sort of see which dates are going to be your fortunate ones and which ones are going to be your less fortunate ones. But that's all I've got for this video, so until next time, keep your head screwed on.